Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. Yesterday was a slow news day coming out of the holiday weekend here in the United States. So let's take the opportunity to talk about Chris Pratt's abs. Yes, if you haven't heard, over the holiday weekend he tweeted out a photo of his buff new Guardians of the Galaxy body. And he was like, oh hey, normally I'd never tweet out a photo like this, but my brother insisted I do it. But that's not the whole story, because when you look at a photo like this of Chris Pratt, and you think of how Chris Pratt looks, for instance, in, say, the trailer for The Delivery Man, you might think, why doesn't Chris Pratt always try and look his best? Because, you know, he does look amazing. As one of you commented to me, do you still think Chris Pratt can't play a heartthrob in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie? My answer to you is, I'm feeling better about it, but I'm still not totally convinced. I'm curious to see how much of his comedic personality comes through, because he may be looking all buff, but he still has, I think, the personality of a Seth Rogen heavy or Jonah Hill heavy comedian. So I don't know if that'll work. I mean, I think I always like trying new things, but I don't know how audiences will feel. I mean, both Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill didn't quite do as well at the box office when they lost their weight. So you never quite know how the audience is going to feel. But anyway, when he said that his brother told him to tweet that picture, Chris Pratt really gave the impression that he and his brother, and he also said, oh, this is what happens when you don't drink beer for 6 months. And so he gives the impression that he and his brother are working out in the gym, doing this themselves. And to some degree, they might have been in the gym alone that day. But I can guarantee you that Chris Pratt is not alone in the gym most of the time. Because here's a dirty secret in Hollywood. Just like they have photoshopping, where they make the photos look a lot different than they do, you may not be aware, but when an actor signs on for a movie, the studio will pay for a whole team of people to get them physically into shape. Gerard Butler has admitted this publicly on late night talk shows when he was asked, why don't you look as good as you always do, in between movies? And he said, that's because I don't have someone from the studio who's being paid to literally watch what I eat and to measure it out and to keep me from cheating. I've heard from some other sources, confidential sources, that other actors will have a whole team of people, a nutritionist, someone help them work out, a bunch of people who will watch what they eat, tell them when to work out, how to work out, and they do the entire thing for them. And the actors have admitted that there's no way that they could do this on their own or on a regular basis. So that's what happens. Like when an actor looks, I mean, it takes a village to get an actor to look lean and muscular in that certain way that a movie needs them to look. So I think that's interesting that you might be wondering sometimes, why are movie budgets so big? Well, that's because there are items in it like team of people to make Gerard Butler look like he did in 300. So I wonder what Disney is spending to get Chris Pratt to look that way, because he did it for Zero Dark 30, but he didn't maintain it. I mean, he said that he had to gain a lot of weight for some roles, some other movie roles, but still, and even Channing Tatum recently has talked about the fact that yo-yoing his weight and his physique between roles is getting frustrating, and he just wishes that, I think the quote was, they can make avatars blue, why can't they CGI some abs on me? I thought that was hilarious. Although Channing Tatum's whole career is based on his abs, so I think he should make the effort. All right, so that's the first story of the day. If you haven't seen the photo, just Google Chris Pratt Guardians of the Galaxy, and it'll come up almost immediately. Also, by the way, side note, I love the kind of way he's combing his hair. I think it's a little kind of like semi Justin Bieber One Direction for some reason, but it's working for him. Very curious to see some footage from this movie. It gets weirder and weirder, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't know if that's going to be good weird or bad weird. All right, so the second story of the day is that they made a small headline, because I said it was a slow movie news day, but Xbox Entertainment Studios just hired a film executive to help be one of the people running the section of the company. He's a guy who used to work for, he helped develop The Proposal and The Fighter, that Mark Wahlberg Christian Bale movie. So he's coming into Xbox, and Xbox is apparently really making a push in Hollywood with their new Xbox One. Apparently they sent some executives out to, a couple weeks ago to show everybody what it can do, the new Xbox. But I think with building up and beefing up the personnel and bringing in film executives into Xbox Entertainment Studios, it makes me wonder if the next step is going to be original programming for them. Because think about it, Netflix, the instant streaming company, had instant success pretty much with their own original programming. They had, House of Cards. I love House of Cards. I think it's fantastic. This Orange is the New Black is getting a lot of buzz. Also, the Eli Roth Hemlock Grove, that did pretty well. It wasn't as big as House of Cards, but they're going to make a second season, and it did well. And Arrested Development, of course, famously. So I think that as people see Netflix's success, Netflix, by the way, you know how they have that triangle? It's like quality, speed, and money. You can't have all three. So I think that. You mean in saving money? That's that triangle, that famous triangle. Netflix spent a ton of money for their original programming. I mean, they went out and literally bought the best programming money can buy. But Xbox has very deep pockets. However, let's not forget the infamous Halo debacle, where Microsoft wanted to be involved in the making of that movie. They sent out messengers and Master Chief Halo uniforms to deliver the script that they had developed themselves, and nobody wanted to in on it, not only because it was so expensive, but because they didn't want such a active partner in Microsoft. They were like, we know how to make movies, Microsoft. You don't. Microsoft said, have you seen our video game? We know what we're doing. But then at the end of the day, they never made the movie. So I think that Hollywood won that one. So it'll be interesting to see if Microsoft will continue to, if in the new kind of digital arena, they can maybe be more successful than they were with Halo. Maybe they'll make a Halo original series. I just thought of that. That'd be pretty good. I think people would watch that, and that would be a huge win for them. And, look at Game of Thrones. Why not do a Halo series for the Xbox One? All right, the third story, the headline just came out late last night or early this morning, and that's that Dev Patel from Slumdog Millionaire. I got to interview him back when he did The Last Airbender. Horrible movie, great guy. And he's apparently in talks to star in Neill Blomkamp's third film, which he's already getting ready to do. Now, I was all excited when I saw the headline. I was like, Dev Patel, you're so awesome. I hope that you finally get some major roles in Hollywood. Right now he's stuck on HBO on The Newsroom, a show that was only renewed out of embarrassment by the channel that they didn't want to cancel their Aaron Sorkin series. But then I started to read about what this film would be about. I think it's called Chappie, but it's a futuristic, slum world where there are robot police officers. It's based on a short film that Neill Blomkamp already did about I believe it's a recruitment ad for a robotic police force. And Charlton Copley, who I also really like, is going to play one of the robo-police. And Dev Patel would be the human who I guess takes a stand. I don't know, but probably is, because I have to tell you, as much as I love Neill Blomkamp and as excited as I am for Elysium, when I hear about this third film, it kind of detracts across the board for me, because it's like, really, Neill Blomkamp, how much are you going to drive this concept into the ground of a future of slums and the robotic dystopian future that is taken over? I mean, it was really cool in District 9. But I mean, Elysium is so similar to District 9. Some people are like, oh, this is a sequel to District 9, right? It's like, no, it's apparently the only thing Neill Blomkamp knows how to do. So I think his team, his own team that manages him creatively, really should be like, constructive criticism, Neill. Why don't you, make something else? So that's how I feel. I'm excited for Dev Patel, but I really hate it when people get stuck in a rut, and I don't understand why Neill Blomkamp would do that to himself. So those are the three stories of the day, and I want to, instead of answering a question today, I want to thank everyone for wishing my mom a happy birthday yesterday. That was so nice of you, and I showed her the comments that you left, and it totally helped make her day. And also, one of you had suggested that we go see The Heat, and we did, and we had such a good time. So I wanted to share with you kind of what we did, because we had a really nice special day, and it's so hard to plan stuff to do in New York and to find. So if any of you find yourselves in New York, or you are New Yorkers, here are some tips for fun things to do if you have a day that you want to do something special, or if you just want to hang out with your friends and have a nice time. So we went to breakfast at Norma's. If you've never been there, it's a restaurant in the Parker Meridian. It's kind of a famous place where a lot of Hollywood players have brunch. I remember reading a story about Scott Rudin and Emma Stone having breakfast there. But they go much earlier. We went like at around 9:30. But if you go a little early, like 8 o'clock or 7:30, you might spot some celebrities. They have very unique breakfast dishes. I had pancakes with walnuts and peaches. And my mom had pancakes with Nutella and raspberries and pineapple, so that was very good. Then we went over to the rain room at the MoMA. That line is brutal. Bring an umbrella for shade. but it's worth it. It was about a 2-hour wait. I had to become a member so I could get kind of like a little skip the line a little bit. So I'm now a member of the MoMA. So, but that was fun. It's there through the end of July. July 28th, I think, is the last day, or it's through up to July 28th. So if you have a chance to go check that out, I would definitely go. It's really a cool experience. But then, because we were so hot after standing in that line for 2 hours out in the hot sun, it was really brutal, as I said, we went across this really cool place called -5, the -5 Ice Bar. It started out, I believe they have one in Las Vegas, but it's in the Hilton here on right near the MoMA at 55th or 56th and 6th Avenue. And it's a bar where you have to, part of your admission is a parka because they keep the room at like 35, 25 degrees or -5 Celsius is what the actual temperature is. So all European viewers, you can tell us what that is right off the bat. But you have to wear a parka in there, and the whole room is made out of ice. It's all carved ice. You get to sit like on furs that are on ice benches. You can go to like an ice room. They've like recreated a Central Park kind of room. And the cool thing is also is you get when you buy your drink, they have non-alcoholic drinks, so anyone can go. It's served to you in a glass made out of ice. It was really fun. I had such a good time. It's not something you can do all the time, but it's like a really fun one-time experience. Or we were thinking maybe we'd go again during the holidays, my family, and take my sister when she's in town. So it was really a lot of fun. And then we saw The Heat, and we just had a really great day. So thank you for that advice to go and see the film, and I hope those tips are helpful to you next time you're in the city, or if you're looking for something to do in the city and you live here. So thanks for watching. That's today's morning movie news. Write down below any stories you'd like covered tomorrow, your thoughts on today's stories, and any questions you might have. Thanks for watching.